Who the is that guy? Who is Edgar Berlanga fighting? Man, what? Listen, they just announced Edgar Berlanga's opponent. What is going on? He's fighting on Ammo Williams' undercard following a Canelo payday. Payday? You want payday? I know that. Following a Canelo fight, he's fighting on Ammo Williams' undercard. You heard it right. His undercard. Very weird. You just fought on PBC on pay-per-view. You made a bag. You came up short with Canelo. And Eddie Hearn, I believe this is his final contracted fight. Eddie Hearn put you on a undercard to Ammo Williams. What happened to Edgar Berlanga was going to fight Gabe Rosado in Puerto Rico? What happened to that? Because at least we know who Rosado is, and I guess you can go off of the namesake and both fighters being Rican, so you could have attempted to make something out of it. Now, this is a Riyadh season event. Man, I keep telling you guys, a lot of people are being exposed because they are fraudulent and they're not keeping it real. A lot of fans and media, they have sold out to this whole idea of like a bunch of fights being in Saudi, and they're subservient to that. I don't have a problem with some fights being in Saudi, but you got people who are spinning narratives that Turkey gives us all of the fights that we want. You literally see comments where it's like, Turkey Al-Sheikh, he saved boxing and he's giving us the fights that we asked for, and he's giving us the fights that we want. But then they announced the fights, and it's Dillian White versus Joe Joyce. Joe Joyce knocked himself down with the jab and lost to Derek Chisora. Dillian White in his last fight fought a random African, and it was a tough fight for him, and he looked out of shape and winded. Now you have the Gabe Rosado fight not happening for Berlanga, and coming off the heels of a Canelo pay-per-view payday, you have Berlanga fighting a guy that no one even knows. I did some research, and apparently this dude had been out of boxing for 10 years. I think he got locked up, don't quote me on that, but he didn't fight for 10 years. And then last year, he had his first fight back after a decade. So I think he was locked down, you know what I mean? And he finally broke that spell. He's about 35 years old. So, I mean, what are we talking about? How did you even find this guy? This looks like the type of fights that Berlanga was getting and having, where he's fighting Irish guys and random people we've never heard of that probably can't beat him. You know what I mean? So the matchmaking looks like his previous matchmaking before the Canelo fight. That's why, man, Canelo's a bad look too. I'm gonna tell y'all what it is. Because Canelo he's picking and choosing. He picked Munguia, now Munguia's in his camp, right? So you gave him the payday. You gave Berlanga the payday. And then Berlanga's fights were like these type of fights in matchmaking, both with Top Rank and with Matchroom. He bit someone and got suspended. And I like Berlanga. I'm just being real. And ultimately, this is just like soft matchmaking. This is a guy who was billed as like a Mike Tyson of sorts with 16 knockouts. And this is the best you can come up with. And you guys got the nerve to be like, Turkey's giving me all the fights I want. I don't know who asked for this, especially since the guy didn't fight for about a decade. And then he just came back last year and nobody watched it. And it looked like he got vitiligo or something going on. I don't know. It's just, the whole thing is weird. The whole thing is weird. And it's also weird for this generation of fighters, these young fighters, talking about like, man, I'm so lit, I'm so popping, wampty. And then this is how you follow up a Canelo fight, by being on Ammo Williams' undercard in Florida. I don't know. It doesn't add up to Berlanga being the star that he says he is to be on someone's undercard. I don't know why they would do this, especially when they were previously talking about a homecoming type of fight in Puerto Rico like what Danny Garcia had when he fought Mauricio Herrera. I don't know what the logic is. Maybe Berlanga wants to get out of his deal with Eddie Hearn and weigh out his options, but this seems very soft in terms of matchmaking. Very soft matchmaking here. What I would like for Berlanga to just get past this dude and then sign Keith Connolly, bring him to PBC, and then make Caleb Plant and Edgar Berlanga. Because again, I believe this is his last contract to fight with Eddie Hearn. And if this is the style of matches that he's gonna get, that Irish dude that he beat and guys like this, then definitely I would rather see him sign with PBC. They got a couple guys that I would like to see him fight. You know, that would be big fights. Caleb Plant being the first and foremost. Let me know what you guys think.